Today we're going to be breaking down the pinnacle of marketing businesses, pay per lead, right? Because these companies are essentially listed on the NASDAQ, right? NerdWallet did 500 million, Lending Tree 600, Credit Karma 500, and Money Supermarket another 500. So if you're somebody who is actually wanting to build a nine-figure marketing company or even eight figures, right, then pay per lead model is something that should be on your radar, because with retainer based model you are just not able to do it, right? And I'd be going as far to say that you're wasting all of your time actually scaling a retainer model. Now, why is it that you can basically scale up, right, so well in pay per lead? Let's first take a look at specifically the data, right? So six, 700, 900 in revenue last year. So all of them are essentially basically listed on the NASDAQ, most of them. And on the profit margin side, they're also pretty high, right? Like 30% net margin is actually crazy. And there's a 30% EBITDA and 20% profit margin at this scale is basically madness. And all of them, as you can see, they have been acquired, right? At least Credit Karma, not all of them have been acquired. So it's also a business model that can eventually be sold for an exit that would set you up for life. Now specifically, right, watch my money super home market. Actually Home Buddy, right, they sold for 120 million in like a split out deal, right? I made an in-depth analysis on that one as well. And specifically, what you want to do when you reach that level is you don't want to sell like clicks, right? So basically, you have lenders and insurers on the back end that pay for the exposures that Lending Tree provides. So when somebody clicks on the Lending Tree site and goes to a partner's website, like some sort of business lender, right? They will pay either for a verified lead, right? First name, last name, phone number, email, or a click on their website. And if you're doing nine figures, usually you're operating on a click basis because the economics of scale just work out like that. And what you want to take into account is that specifically they operate in a lot of niches like mortgages, personal loans, credit cards. So they're vertically expanding as well, which is something that can be done as well further down the line, right? In this model. Now they get paid on each referral or lead, each click or ad, and they have brand recognition, right? So they don't need to pay for a lot of ads, which is why their profit margin is so high. People are just going to go specifically and search them up on Google. And obviously they still have a bunch of affiliates, right? So they pay people very very low cost for a lead, right? Let's say they pay $20 for a lead that some affiliate generates, and they sell them for like $30 and pocket the difference. And at scale, it makes a huge impact. Now, how Lending Tree makes money is basically pay per lead, pay per click, getting other businesses more customers, and arbitraging the trust that consumers have in this platform, as well as a very extensive affiliate network. So people sending them traffic at a cost they would be able to justify. Now, for the financial snapshot, right, you have a net income of 10 million, EBITDA of 40 million, and a revenue of 300 million. Now, obviously, they're not like us, right? They reinvest most of it. They have a C-suite, so they're reinvesting most of their profits probably back into growth. So essentially, they might want to sell it off, right? And obviously it's dependent on interest rates, their business model, because it's lending, right? And that's like, I wouldn't even say that's a weakness, because there are always going to be demand as long as there are businesses for lenders. And they're a middleman, but specifically they don't provide lending, but being a middleman is more profitable than being a lender themselves, right? And obviously they have all of this consumer trust, and what's also valuable is the data that they have, right? So the database that they're building up over the last decade or so is like worth $1 billion. That's just hypothetical. It's probably way worth way more, because you have all of this information of consumers that want to buy a specific, that are business land, want to like have these interests in financial products, and all of that database can be monetized essentially, right? So opportunities and threats, um, just the usual things, right? The competition. But the whole point is that specifically, this is the kind of business model you would want to follow, pay per lead, right? Because you can essentially also sell leads to NerdWallet and all of these people on a large basis, and they will just send you six figures, like if you've earned their trust, right? Because for them it's peanuts in terms of marketing spend that they have. And here you can also see that, right, some other ones are like insurance companies that are national. It's a very good vertical. Check out my video on verticals, right? If you need any more support, I am on Instagram as well as on LinkedIn. Fuck, what the fuck am I saying? LinkedIn, I mean Telegram. But you guys, cheers.